Yaps. It's in the name. Okay, since the last upload where we talked about Mambdani and how he's just, the left is losing it, it seems like he is pulling plays from an old playbook. I wanted to hear more about this. What does Fox have to say?
While Republicans
They're not
fight for
biased at all.
capitalism, a socialist is now the face of the Democratic Party. They just nominated this guy in New York City on the Democratic side of the aisle.
Do you like capitalism?
No, I have many critiques of capitalism. Call myself a democratic socialist. We put forward a plan to start Trump-proofing our city, increasing the top corporate tax rate and increasing income tax.
I hate how they just put all those, like, just bam, bam, like, clipped it. Granted, everything he said, I disagree with. But at least you got to give the guy some more room to talk and let him flesh out these ideas so they can sound even more stupid than just the bulletin point headlines. Because those already sound bad. You want to increase income tax? I want income tax to go away.
And that's the best it gets. Meet Zoran Mambdani. He's campaigning on fundamentally transforming New York into his social paradise.
It is the time for our city to be reborn. A new city with a new politics where the worker comes first.
And what is his signature economic policy? Government-run grocery stores.
I will create a network of city-owned grocery stores. We will redirect city funds from corporate supermarkets to city-owned grocery stores.
I'll say, when has anything government ran been efficient? You think the government's going to be able to do grocery stores better than the private sector? No, not at all. We saw in the last video how grocery stores are like insane in the membrane on being able to give you produce when it's not even in season. You think the government's going to be able to handle that at a large scale? I think not.
Where have we seen this before? I don't know. Have a look.
The state food stores are called the gastronome shops. You locate what you want, you stand in line to learn if it's available, then you queue up in another line and buy that particular food ticket. Then you line up again and you acquire the desired food, unless what you've selected has been sold out in the meantime.
Yeah,
Insane.
Let's run it like we run the DMV, folks. That's the way to do it. That's what's going to get New York City back on track. Mambdani's radical policies are sending New Yorkers into a panic. The Wall Street Journal reports that some developers and landlords are making preparations to flee the city.
A guy like this just wants all the power, all the money, and all the resources, and he wants to dictate where it goes. He doesn't want you to have it. He wants to have all of it.
And real estate agents are preparing for an exodus. One agent told the New York Post, quote, "My number one job will be moving people from New York to Florida again." But the New York Times calls him a new political star. And another far-left paper is encouraging Democratic establishment to follow his example as a blueprint to future elections.
I do think that they need to, if the left wants to come out and try to come back to some sense of normalcy, getting a young guy who's good with words, who knows how to inspire the masses, isn't a bad thing. I just wish that they could have somebody like that, like this guy, who's a young guy who's well with words and seemingly can inspire the masses or get some type of emotional response on them. I just want them to not be completely retarded.
I am delighted, and it's good to see that kind of energy come in.
The relentless focus on affordability had great appeal all across the city of New York.
This is about the message that the people of New York City are trying to send to our party.
If Mambdani is the future of the Democrats, the party may be in for a rude awakening come November of 2026. Even the Washington Post editorial board is warning them to, quote, "Democrats should fear that he will discredit their next generation of party leaders, almost all of whom are better than this Democratic socialist." Ouch. David, this guy's taking a really radical position out here.
Well,
Whoa.
is there any real surprise?
Donald Trump took a
this
radical
guy is the
position.
Sadiq Khan of New York, and you saw what happened to London under him. This is a playbook that's been underway for a long time.
We also don't need to criticize this guy with like racist bigotry, just call him some weird like Islamic phobe or Middle Eastern, like rat or anything like that. Like, don't say anything stupid. Come at this guy at his policies. Attack the policies, not the person.
The New York City Council, go back to the Christine Quinn days. I mean, I know we're kind of localizing it, but you got to understand that it's a weak mayor town with a strong leftist city council and, frankly, ineffective Republicans on the council. There's been no opposition to their march in New York State, because it's not just about Mambdani. You talk about the Working Families Party. You talk about Letitia James, who was their candidate all the way to the AG spot. You talk about Kathy Hochul, and now you give them New York City. This is a playbook that works. You look at the SEIU, Liuna 108, all the other players in New York who are going to go in and soak the city. And here's the thing. They can't stop the people with the ability from leaving, the people who run the city on a daily basis, workers of every color. They can't afford to live here. New York City is going to see the opposite of what was Ed Koch's and Rudy Giuliani's vision and save in New York to put it back on the right track. Look what de Blasio, look at Adams, look what comes next, and be afraid.
But Mayor Adams looking pretty good compared to this guy, Molly.
Well, I think the real question here isn't so much about are the socialists going to take over the Democratic Party and are they leading right now, but are they outworking the moderates? This guy shook the hands, he walked the city, he had the energy, he did the work, and where is he today? Where did he literally go today? When all the chips fell, it turned out there were a lot of wealthy white voters, Asian voters. He was had a lot of upper class, high educated voters, and didn't appeal to the black vote as well. He was in Harlem today. He's out there still working it. So the question is, are the moderates going to be able to claw back some of that energy that seems to be on the progressive side going forward?
Yeah, he's taken this interesting position. If we put up this quote from his tax plan, shift the tax burden from overtaxed homeowners in the outer boroughs to more expensive homes in richer and whiter neighborhoods. That's his policy. And the part about the grocery store,
See what I mean? You
have experience with this.
Yeah, I was just at a grocery store on Friday, and I've been in multiple grocery stores across the city because crime has been such a big issue. The problem is New York City, like most of the country, but acutely here, is too expensive. Young people feel they can't afford to live here. So here comes this guy who has done a lot of good groundwork and has a very strong social media presence. And he's promising, I'm going to make things better. I'm going to make it more affordable. Who doesn't want that? And of course, who doesn't want free stuff? The problem is his execution is all wrong.
Especially
and the
young
voters
people, because when they hear free things, they don't understand that there's no such thing as a free lunch. Right.
Don't see past the social media. Grocery store margins, 1.6%. These grocers are not taking home more money. But hey, if you have a congestion tax where now it's X amount more expensive to even get your groceries into the city, the grocers then need to charge more because they're charging more for when it's coming in. The math doesn't add up, but he's touched on something so important that I think the Republicans in the city have long struggled to do, which is that it is too expensive here. But the way to fix that is not to say we're going to get you everything for free, because millionaires being taxed an extra 2%, they leave. You have no money if all the folks, and I'm hearing this, if Mambdani wins, people are moving. And if you don't have your revenue base in the wealthy in New York, you don't have government-run grocery stores.
Exactly. Makes a lot of sense.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here.
This is a legitimate serious, gassy. This is becoming a serious problem over here in America, and I hate seeing this divide. And over the next 3 years, I think, man, I don't even know what to bank over the next 3 years other than the fact that it's going to change a lot. And I don't think it's just going to affect America. I think it's going to affect the world and how the world thinks of America and how America thinks, interacts with the world. Once more, I bank on India and America's relationship going up. Honestly, I could see the, Japan, Korea, China, I could see their relationship kind of getting better, to be honest. Maybe becoming a little less reliant. I don't know. I just don't see China. I see China's bold steam of being the #1 superpower kind of getting derailed a little bit with all the shit that's going on globally. While, Russia's definitely losing. China, I don't want to say that they're losing. I feel like they're just kind of in this limbo stage right now. Same thing with America. We're in this weird limbo stage. India is on the up and up, but let me know what you guys think about all this down below. And as always, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.